Yeah, I know I'm breaking my own rule, but I wanted to specifically cover one film that was based on a pre-existing franchise because, as it happens, those kinds of movies are still a part of anime film history. And the film I think capitalized the most on this, with the whole franchise being a worldwide phenomenon, is Pokémon the first movie. Pokémon as a franchise is one of my favorites ever since I was a little kid. Whether if it was the games or the anime or the TCG, Pokémon just sparked a fascinating imagination in my mind, not limited to just the creatures, but the worlds and the community and the whole product as this monolith of bringing people together through these means. And you bet your butt the movies were very much a part of that love. But after all these years, how does the first one hold up, as a standalone film and as another product of this now global giant? If you don't know the story, a boy named Ash and his partner Pikachu, and their friends Misty and Brock live in the world of Pokémon, creatures that can be tamed and battled as partners together for international competitions. They're invited to one on an unknown island where Ash can get a step closer to becoming a Pokémon master. But when they get there by the skin of their teeth, they find that the tournament was a big hoax set up by the artificial Pokémon Mewtwo, who plans on using their Pokémon and other trainers' Pokémon as blueprints for cloning his own army who will try to liberate the Mons of the world from their enslavement by the trainers across the globe. And so, it's up to Ash and friends to stop Mewtwo through what else but the power of Poké friendship. And here lies the biggest problem with the film, as with any film coming off the coattails of a successful franchise: context. Even with my simplified summary, if you don't know what a Pokémon is or how this world works, you're going to be lost. But there lies in the question, wasn't this movie made for the fans? Yes, the film's target audience is that of those who play the games or watch the anime. And don't get me wrong, it was very successful in theaters for that reason, but that calls for the other half of that sentiment. Shouldn't the movie be accessible to all who want to watch it? I can't help but refer to Detective Pikachu as a good example of this duality of the questions, as that film was mostly made for the fans in mind, but was introduced in an easy, understandable way that non-fans could take in and wrap their heads around. I guess it also helps that at least 4/5 of the world's population knew what Pikachu was. But what about the movie itself? Is it salvageable? Well, surprisingly, not really. Assuming you are a fan of Pokemon, or at least know what a Bulbasaur is, the story really doesn't serve a lot in the world of the film, nor is it really engaging. You know what will happen, when it will happen, how, all that. As it is, the movie's events are rarely referenced in later films and the series, so it's just kind of there. And that's part of the problem with franchise films like this. They're inconsequential. They don't affect anything within the anime's worlds, and nothing's learned, or grown, or adapted. Surprisingly, Pokémon might be one of the series of films that does it best, where the lowest stakes altitude of the world and its writing can make for easier adjustments to any anime continuity, versus something say like One Piece, where there does seem to be more innovations to the writing which would only get scrapped in the series. Okay, so that's enough bitching and moaning about the movie. What do I like about it? Well, it's still Pokémon. Ash, Brock, Misty, Team Rocket, they're still very much likable in their unique selves, and the world is still incredible. I feel that even if someone was confused going into it, they'd still appreciate the vast amount of Pokémon and creativity with them. Plus, Mewtwo is one of the best parts of the film, as he's not the typical dictatorial cleanse this world kind of villain. He is given this vague backstory at the beginning of the film that's just enough to clue you in on why he is the way he is, and the philosophies behind his actions and reactions are textbook moral code and understanding, which can be good when showing this film to young children. There are some good lines in the film that come from him or other characters like Meowth children could understand and comprehend. As a film alone, it's fairly passable if shown to the right audience, which, let's be real, for a franchise as huge as Pokémon will always be the case. But if not, it's still got a few cool things in there, like the Pokémon and the basic themes. The animation's okay, the music's okay, the characters are okay, everything about the film is okay. Though I will say, the 4Kids dub of the film, while not fantastic, does throw in some pretty funny jokes here and there.
Strong! I think I'm gonna have one.
I didn't know Vikings still existed.
They mostly live in Minnesota.
It is cool thinking about how this franchise became big enough to be shown on the big screens, but all in all, it's okay. I certainly think there are better Pokemon movies out there, but I'm sure for many, this first movie is their favorite, whether it be for the nostalgia, characters, or just a love of Pokemon in general. I'd say if you're a Poke fan, or you want to put on a movie for your Pokemon loving kid, nephew, kid you're babysitting, it's fine. This really isn't the best starting point for an upcoming Pokemon fan, but for what it is an okay movie blockaded by a sizable contact wall. If you want to catch them all, seek it and judge for yourself if it's the very best that there ever was.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all.